Crimson Witch of Flames artifact set.
A flower touched by the witch who once dreamt of burning away all the demons in the world. The anonymous flames affectionately caress the hands of those who touch it. It's a common species of flower, curiously capable of resisting the Crimson Witch's flames. A crisis centuries ago dashed all hope of the maiden seeing the future promised to her. Those dear to her, her past days, and her bright future, all gone. From the ashes, the Crimson Witch of Flame was born, and she burned away her pain with fire. Yet this flower stayed resilient, soft and moist. Perhaps both painful and beautiful memories were two sides of the same coin. A bird feather touched by the witch who once dreamt of burning away all the demons in the world. Its eternal flame burns hot. A forever burning bird feather, whose fire shall burn for all eternity. Scorched earth followed in her wake, for she chose a path of hellfire. Though her fires only touched monsters and demons, people still cowered behind closed windows and tried to drive her away. But none of that mattered to her. New hopes were birthed from the fires of old pains. She needed not comforting nor sympathy. Chirping by her side, the birds gave her all the understanding she needed. The Hourglass is a timepiece worn by the witch who dreamt of burning away all the demons in the world. The years the witch dedicated to the flames flow within. It's a small vessel containing a high-temperature liquid said to be the molten souls of evil spirits. A special hydro timepiece given to the Crimson Witch before calamity struck. Back then she was still a maiden, and had not yet embarked on her journey. One cycle was the right time required to finish her study at the academia. By the time the countdown ended and she returned to her hometown, its previous owner had become a casualty of the crisis. Her maiden years were over. The Crimson Witch of Flame was born, and with her the era of destruction. A timepiece bore witness to the days of monsters and the pain they caused, until all were burned away. The goblet is a flame-spitting urn left behind by the Crimson Witch of Flames, who once dreamt of burning away all the demons in the world. The fire in the urn burns eternally, as did its former master. It's a clear bottle containing liquid fire, though the techniques involved in making liquid fire have since been lost. The Crimson Witch of Flame walked upon the earth, burning monsters into cinders. Rumor told of how she sacrificed her mortal body to become the embodiment of liquid fire herself. Still, love and longing once dwelt in her maiden heart, until fires burned away that beautiful and fragile part. Thus, she became the witch that historians were loath to remember. The Circlet is a hat once worn by the witch who dreamt of burning away all the demons in the world. The large brim blocked her sight. It's a traditional witch's pointed hat with a large brim. It grants a witch the reverence and fear which she commands. To the Crimson Witch of Flame, this large hat shielded her from surrounding distractions. It was how she was able to hone her pyro skills when she was still an apprentice. In combat, she needed not pay attention to monsters disintegrating in flames. Nor did she need to look at her own burnt face in the water's reflection. And so the Crimson Witch continued to burn, blind to the extent of her devastation.
So, 500 years ago, there was a cataclysm where monsters walked the land. That's a big topic that'll give its own video. But what's important about it here is that several of our artifact sets tell the stories of people who lived during that time. They may not have been important to the cataclysm, but they were very involved in or affected by it, and because artifacts are powers that we get from the memories of heroes of old, they are people who are important enough to give us their powers via these artifacts. The Crimson Witch of Flames was one such person who lived during the cataclysm. And her story goes that she was a maiden studying at the academia in Sumeru to be a mage. And when she came to her homeland after the disaster struck, it had been destroyed. She went mad with revenge and blazed a path of hellfire through the entirety of the Cataclysm, out to destroy all monsters. It's a bit of a tragedy, or it's very much a tragedy for her, not least because she starts by losing everything she cares about, but also because she very much loses herself in her pursuit of revenge. The Artifacts lore talks about how people couldn't bear to look at her because everyone was afraid of her. Even though she only cut down beasts, people tried to push her out. The one about her hat specifically is that she had no need to see her burnt reflection and that she had no need to see the monsters disintegrating. She didn't need to see anything. She just needed to walk and destroy, and her existence came down to simply destruction. It says that she even, as legend has it, gave up her mortal, or not mortal, but her physical body to become an embodiment of liquid fire. So this is a woman who was overcome by revenge and blazed fire upon the monsters. That's all we can really get from her. There's nothing that speaks to the rest of Teyvat. She's just a notable person from the Cataclysm. And there we go. Have a good one. Bye-bye.